like to talk about, but I saw some of your content and it's very interesting. So I'd love to hear.
Okay, you see
I also
this? Yeah.
I'd love to hear more about you.
I'm started. I have pushed record, and now it's already alive. So you can ask whatever you
No, no,
want. And now
I
we're
want to
here.
make
It's
sure
actually
it's recorded. But I want to make sure your husband's okay.
oh yes,
Good.
it's also long story, but he resilience is his second name because he had blood cancer many years before, and also now these heart operations and a lot of organs they like how
Mm,
everything is connected. But thank you so much for your care and for concern and asking. Yes, he's better.
you're welcome.
So but now we are talking, and I'm so grateful that you actually were so kind, and you could we could postpone, and then we have this opportunity now. So my brilliant audience, delicious people, now we already have like 57 8 9 seconds of our show, but my biggest passion in the world actually to show every single person that you don't have to be like perfect already and to have all this fancy equipment though I have somewhere there, or editor team and everything to share your voice. It's so important. You have your story, you have your uniqueness in this world, and if you want to help people or just to say it loud, please do, because so many people now they would like to open the show podcast, right, but they are immediately quit before they start. And that's why I'm trying to show that no, no, no. You see, I don't have all this fancy stuff. I just have me. I started my own show being in pajama in mental institution. Everybody knows who actually was on my show. And I'm so proud of it, really proud. But today it's not actually my arena to be a star. I was this night actually amazing show. Oh, then I could like, but you know what, Jad, I have a problem. Maybe you as this physician can give me advice. I know God gave us 2 ears, one mouth. We have to listen twice, speak 50% less. I cannot do that. I don't know how to do it. I still like, I understand this is show. I have to be facilitated. It's not Valeria, you are not a star of this show. But still I forget and I start talking and talking and talking, and people they have no
My wife says
chance to
my
share
wife
anything.
my wife says the same thing about me. I talk too much and don't listen enough. So there you go. We're in the same situation.
Okay, so we are double trouble. Okay, then at
Mhm.
least now we have the psychological cool contract. Okay, then we actually married at least about that.
Perfect.
Amazing. But now, as we actually remember that I would like at least my audience know, because there are so much of your accomplishments and everything, and you're an amazing human. I already started sharing with you brilliantly before I push the button. For me, what you're doing, it's really God's work. And they said, no, no, we are not. But for me, it is. So the episode, actually, the title of episode, Healing the Brain, Transforming the Systems, it's innovation, diversity of thoughts, it will be my part there, and the future of neurosurgery. But actually, future, what you're doing already today and this morning, even. So welcome to back to Diversity is the Game Changer. And today we have the great privilege of welcoming an extraordinary physician scientist, entrepreneur, and system thinker whose works reminds us that true innovation begins by questioning what everyone else accepts is impossible. And you did possible. And for us, it's still impossible. I even cannot imagine.
We're very
So,
soon.
Dr. Jared Ament, did I say it correctly?
Yes.
I love it. Okay. Is a board certified fellowship trained neurosurgeon, specialized in complex and minimally invasive brain spine surgery. I even want to pronounce that. My brain is very like imaginative, like, oh my God, how is it possible? Okay. Throughout his career, he has combined cutting edge surgical expertise with visionary leadership, pioneering technologies as navigation, robotics, and motion preserving spine surgery. Often referred as the anti-fusion doctor, Dr. Ament has become an internationally recognized advocate for preserving movement rather than limiting it, challenging conventional approaches while improving patients' quality of life. Oh, I'm your patient. Please, can you improve my quality of life?
I hope you never need me.
No, you know what? I am so neurodivergent sometimes that actually, believe me or not, because sometimes I'm suffering from anxiety, depression, and in suicidal intrusive thoughts. That my daughter, she knows that, and believe me or not, it is like medal with two sides. She's so inspired now to be a neurosurgeon like you. She's studying so hard every single day because her mission and her like, she said, my mom, it's my higher mission for the world. I want to help you and people like you. You see?
That's
So
very, very sweet.
yes, I'm
If
actually basically your
ever,
client. Like,
if ever wants to talk to me, I'm always happy to talk to
yeah, but okay, let's further. It's not about her anymore. So his
her.
academic journey spans out the world's leading institutions, including Ben Gurion University, Columbia University, Harvard Medical School, Harvard School of Public Health, US Davis, Cedar Sinai Medical. Oh my God, you started in the kindergarten? How did you manage all of that? But beyond the operating room, he's equally passionate about transforming healthcare system. His groundbreaking research in healthcare economics and cost effectiveness has influenced national insurance policy, oh my God, and expanded patient access to innovative treatments. I could go further and further, I know, but then we don't have that time actually that you can talk. So please, welcome to the show. Welcome, dearest Dr. Jared Ament.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah, cool.
A pleasure. A pleasure to be here. You're too kind. All of those accolades are just things, you know. At the end of the day, it's all
Mm.
about trying to do right by people and help people.
Yeah, amazing. And what you are doing, it's, yeah, oh, we need people like you so much. But okay, before all this, like you said, titles, accolades, and
Mm-hmm.
status, which actually we know it's a lot of things on paper.
Mm-hmm.
But even to get them on paper, I know myself firsthand, to get there, to go the road, actually, it is so much important. And everything starts like even in the beautiful strong tree. It one day it was a baby seed, right? So one day it was just a boy Jared, right, with all probably, I know, dreams, aspirations, all the maybe pivotal moments or people in his life. Can you please take us a little bit backwards to the kingdom of this little boy, and actually how your childhood really, I'm sure, has impact who you became today? Dying to know
That's
about
a
that.
great question. You know, I don't think I've been on a lot of podcasts. I don't think anyone's ever asked me that question before. So that's fascinating.
Oh.
Um, you know, I don't think there was anything extraordinary about my childhood. I was definitely, you know, I didn't come from extreme wealth or anything like that, but I was definitely pushed academically. Um, I was very, very big into martial arts growing up as a kid, into
Oh.
karate. And part of the spirit of martial arts and karate was always doing your best, personal best, never give up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that more than even schooling and academics, it really pushed me, inspired me, molded me for a certain framework, how I approached everything in life.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you know, never give up, personal best. And I also, you know, there'll be a juxtaposition, a little change in context when you get to neurosurgery. But, you know, in martial arts, simple things like a movement, a kata, breaking a board, you know, whatever it is, if you don't do it successfully, if you fail, my instructors, my senseis would always say, never end on failure.
Oh.
And so I would keep going until I succeeded. Now, that's not to say there are some things that may be impossible or unsafe to do at your level. So it's okay to modify, to approach it a little bit differently. But whatever you do, you end on success. And
Mm-hmm.
so that motto kind of carried with me for a long time. And then when I, you know, got interested in medicine, you know, as a very young teenager, it was more about understanding how things worked, understanding the body. And I realized that there was a lot we knew about the heart. There was a lot we knew about the kidneys. There was a lot we knew about the liver. There was a lot we knew about the eyes. There was a lot we knew about the skin. But neurosurgery, the brain and the spine, was like this abyss. It was, we did it, we knew about it, but there was so much we couldn't do. There was so much we still didn't understand. That
Mm-hmm.
to me was a challenge. That to me was inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and you know, as I go through the steps in the academic process, I realized, you know, it was one of those fields that was like special forces, Navy SEALs. You're training in the trenches. You are training to never give up. It's like karate. It was like martial arts. So you are training to always push, to always look for a solution, to always try and help. The one difference was, people always say, oh, neurosurgeons, have God complexes, right? What's the difference between God and a neurosurgeon? God doesn't think he's a neurosurgeon, right? That's the joke. But the what people don't realize is, and there is a little bit of that. There's certainly this kind of God complex where I go to pick up milk for my wife for the kids in the grocery store and I'm waiting in line. It's like, really? Do you know what I did all day? Why am I waiting in this line, right? It's like, it's a weird feeling, right? It's like, this is crazy. This is not normal for me. My normal is operating with one little movement is life and death. So there's a God complex there because you're not part of reality. It's the same thing with soldiers, special forces, Navy SEALs. They have all this access to this equipment and technology, and they're calling the shots, and they're in charge when they're in battle, and they come home and they don't know how to behave, right? It's like, so there is this dissociation. You talk about neurodivergence. There's this dissociation that happens in neurosurgery. But what people also don't realize is unlike me growing up in a dojo and karate and martial arts where you end on success, there is an extreme humility in neurosurgery as well. There's this aspect that is so humbling because you do lose patients. You do create patients who can't walk again, who can't speak again. You do, or you can't bring them back from death or disability. And that, when have a God complex, but you can't win, you can't always end on success, right? That was my training. You can't always end on success. That is neurosurgery. And it is an extremely complex some people say psychopathology. It is a difficult thing to understand. How can someone be so elevated, so capable, have a God complex, but also feel demoralized the next day, feel like they're worthless, feel like you didn't do enough. It is a very, very interesting perspective. And I only digress to the current because it sort of came from the beginning. It's how it all started in this concept of never giving up, personal best, ending on success.
My God, you know what? Thank you so much. I'm so genuinely grateful for you now, because basically all my neurons, all my molecules, atoms, they're like buzzing of the energy. I even have
You're buzzing?
goosebumps under my knees. I really have goosebumps. If you were there, I could show you like basic what I'm saying, because I of course I could just imagine a little bit how challenging, how beyond description, beyond, like, for me it's cosmical world to be what you're doing. But for me at the same time it was also like, question how this person can deal with this emotional, no, I don't know, press, you don't say it, but it's true. It's like you saying, like it's between being a god and the next day, and even like how this, like, you 1 minute, 1 second can be so defining for this person and for you, whether you are like the best hero of the world, or I don't know how to put it in the words, but it for me also, you know what, it gives a lot of comparison with my disorder, because I have OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, right? And I'm so open about this, and my is not like this, like people, they're joking a lot about, oh, I have OCD about that people who are actually joking about this now, even I also have to, they don't have that really severe OCD, because we who have that, and it's about intrusive thoughts, and my thoughts are sometimes so severe and so intense, so I'm completely not the person. So people, when they watch me sometimes, like I'm like walking the red carpet on Cannes Festival, right? Like I'm Mrs. Walken or something. Or 2 months later, the same body in mental institution, pyjama, open the podcast. Look, and I still have to wake up and to deal with these many identities inside me, right? And to rewire my brain that, you know what, it doesn't matter, but today also I did show up. What did I do today? I did my best. What is your secret that you can actually share to people, how you navigate, how your like special small, I don't know, secrets or tools or gems of wisdom, however possible, you can regulate your nervous system, like when something before the operation, after operation, do you have any special, like, magical tricks or something? Maybe I even can use it.
Thank you. What a beautiful question. There is no trick. I mean,
Yeah.
it is there. I wish it was. It's a beautiful, beautiful question. And it's such a great question for your audience because we all need tricks, even though there isn't one trick, right? We all need something. We all need mechanisms.
Mm-hmm.
And it depends on the circumstance. It depends on what it's called for. Everyone has to find their own, through martial arts. For me, for karate, martial arts, exercise, working out, meditation is my mechanism. Sometimes it seems silly, but sometimes if something really awful happens, and thankfully we don't lose patients that often, but there's not disability that often. But in the odd times it happens, it seems silly, but coming home and trying to dissociate and spend a moment with the children, with the kids, having a moment of normalcy, which is hard to do sometimes. It's hard to detach because a lot of people, it's the opposite. They come home and they lash out. They're angry, they're frustrated, they're emotional, they take it out on their loved ones. But trying to kind of step back and have a moment of joy is my trick, I guess, is my way, is I'll try to internalize, I'll try to meditate, I will try to be active, I will hit a bag, I will do martial arts, I will go to the gym. Those are my ways of coping. Sometimes it's not as healthy, not as constructive. Sometimes I'll sit, have a scotch and a cigar, and listen to some Zen flutes and some meditative music. I'm not promoting scotch and cigars. I'm simply saying we all have we have our vices, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And maybe that, for me is just a moment. Often, I'll be honest, having really good friends close to you, especially ones, it's sometimes hard for spouses. My wife tries, but she's not in it. And it's hard. And she's like, well, why can't you talk to me? It's like, sometimes it doesn't, I have to talk to my partner, my neurosurgical partner, and we speak to each other and we call it the pits, the neurosurgical pits. When we're in the pits, we're really low. And we just talk each other through it, and sometimes that's all it takes. I'll give you another example. And this is kind of a unfortunate example of American medicine, because I'm not from America. I was born in Canada, but American medicine is this unfortunate truth. It's not even sometimes the pits is not always about death, dying, and disability. We are constantly bombarded by the legal system, right? There's everyone, you do one little thing wrong and someone doesn't like you and you can get a lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
And that when that happens, this is very different than death, dying, and disability, because the death, dying, and disability is so personal to the patient you're taking care of.
Mm-hmm.
But in some ways, I don't think it's anything like it, but there's a feeling that's similar, because if you really gave it your all and you did everything you could, if you really gave it your all, you did everything you could for a patient, and there was some conversation they didn't like, or something happened they didn't like, and they just turn around and sue you, it's the same feeling. The feeling is, I did everything for you. You're suing me, and it's usually the ugly thing is that in this country, people sue just for money. They want to go after your insurance, right? And it's like, I'm doing everything for you, and you're now going to take up all my time to defend this, to fight in court and lawyers. It is a problem with the system, and it also is demoralizing, because it puts you in the pits. It puts you in a space like, I don't understand how someone would come after me when I tried everything to do right by you, right? It feels wrong. It's very similar to how two people love each other in a marriage and somehow go after each other and hate each other in a divorce, like completely counterintuitive positions with the same relationship. And I only bring that up because you're asking about tricks and tips. It's the same thing. I'll talk to my partner about it, and he's older, been through it longer, been sued probably more than me, right? And so he has more experience, and he'll talk me off the ledge, and he'll say, this is just the game. You didn't do anything wrong. Think about this. Did you, first of all, we always do an internal check. Can you sleep at night? Did you do everything right? Is there something you could have done differently? Did you make a mistake? Could you be better? And once we go through that check, we're like, wait a second, we really didn't do anything wrong here. This is the game. Let the system play. Learn about the interaction. What could have been different? And you know what? You got to laugh about it, because it's silly. Some of it is ridiculous. So that's part of the coping mechanism, is putting perspective. That's easier to do in that arena than death and disability, because there's a person that's really hurt here, whereas another person maybe think they're hurt, but they're not, type situation, right? And I think that figuring out the right coping mechanisms for the right scenario is the best advice I can give people. There's no one trick, unless there is. I mean, unless you're a runner and going for a run makes everything feel better. That's great. For me, having a talk with my partner, if it's about a legal matter, really helps. And if it's a really like serious matter that happened to a patient, death, dying, disability, then meditation, exercise, internalizing. Most people tell you, the lawyers, the HR, the human resources, they tell you don't reach out to families, don't don't do this. Anytime there's a death or something happens, I try to go to the funeral. I always reach out to the family. I'm always communicating. I'm always trying to be there, even if it wasn't my fault. I want to show that I am supportive and I wish I could have done better, or I wish it could have been different. So I'm always reaching out. And that's my way of trying to help heal and be part of the healing. And so everyone has to find their own tools. I wish I could give you a trick. It's not, it's a personal exploration. It's a personal kind of decision and experience about what can get you. And you know why you have to? And this is the most important trick. You have to figure out doing something, not too destructive, but doing something that allows you to get up the next day to do what's necessary for the next person, to do what's necessary for your family. You have to figure out the mechanisms that allow you to be better, to process better, so that you can continue to move on. And I'll tell you one saying. People always ask me, well, neurosurgery, it's one patient with a tumor, one patient with a spine problem. It's not that many. You're not doing, you introduced me as doing God's work, but it's not that many patients, right? There aren't that many neurosurgical patients. Or I go over to, Bolivia or Ethiopia once a year. I've been doing this for over a decade to do volunteer work, to give back, and as part of a nonprofit, just volunteer teaching, surgery, etc. And people always say, aren't you frustrated? Because, I have a degree in public health that was designed to try to help the system, not just help the, right? And when you go over to one of these countries, you help 5, 10 people, but there's millions of people there that need help. And there's absolute truth to that. And I worked really hard on structuring systems and teaching and tools and things that will continue and be sustainable after I leave, so it helps more people, right? But I also said, there is real truth to feeling small in this enormous world, enormous pool of suffering and need. But when I go over and I help one person, it may not feel like I'm helping the world, but to that one person, it is their world.
Wow, it is so profound, and it is so true that you cannot change the world like really for everybody. You can really change the world for one person. It's maybe the same parallel that I have adopted 2 kids from Ukraine many years ago, and with special needs, right? And everybody was like asking me, why do you need, you are so young, like this baby would never walk and talk, why do you need a handicap like kid for the rest of your life? You're so young, you have career to do and everything, and it's just a baby. There are so many of them. I'm like, what, do you know what, if we all of us think like this, then like we quit before we start, right? So for me it means the world actually, that okay, we kind of came here, we want to change the world, but like, so in general, but we don't want to do something like, every day, like small step in discipline, because it requires so much responsibility. It's the whole new angle of approach, like you said it. And for these girls, now I have 2 beautiful princes that turning 17 years old. Like I've already shared with Nicole, she's so much inspired, and I even talked to her that I would be talking to you today. She said, oh mama, why I'm not at home, I also want to talk to him. He's like, because the biggest dream now for her to be a neurosurgeon, and she has borrowed books from library, and she actually reading and go through all this stuff with me like every single day now, like 1 hour. And I know so much cool stuff already about brain, and she's just 16, right? It's so cool. But what I mean, like, it's so beautiful what you have been doing, and it's so true that I also answered, like, there are enough kids in the world, there are not enough parents. And for these 2 young ladies, or it was baby, like 7 months to 3 years old, it's completely 2 different new worlds, right? And I know that I came here on a higher mission, And every single day, I'm not living in vain. I'm doing something, right? I'm like co-creating two lives. I have changed their lives and they changed mine, of course. This is
Amazing.
so
Beautiful.
beautiful. Um, I like very much how you actually put this, because I'm kind of struggling myself with that, and many neurodivergent people as well like to feel small, like, because we are not um fit in the system for neurotypical people. We always feel like, even the medical language put us like disabled, disordered, and then we feel we have to overhide, overmask, or perform, burnout. And we it was me before I actually found out the term neurodiversity. I always believe like 15 years that I'm broke, I'm disabled, disordered, I'm not good enough, I'm less worthy than anybody else. And then I felt so small. My question is now that because we have social media, and it's like never ever not enough trap, right? It's built like this, that you have to compete all the time, and it doesn't matter what you're doing, how much you're doing, you still feel kind of, if you not rewrite, not meditate. I do a lot of work to like regulate my nervous system, that I still feel
Mhm.
myself and not less. What is your tips for young generation, how for them to navigate? It's so difficult for them not to be trapped that of this perfectionist, that everybody around do better than them.
That's a great question. So, I mean, really
Thank you.
beautiful question. So, you know, I was on a show of a friend of mine, Marissa Streit, PragerU, years and years and years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and she was talking to me about neuroscience and AirPods and social media as well,
Mm-hmm.
and how there's a young. I mean, your daughter sounds different. She's inspired. There's a young generation out here that is less inspired, right? They're not going to the library or getting books. They're not even sure they need to go to university or college anymore, right? There's everything is on Chat GPT or AI
Yeah.
or
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's all immediate. The the There is going to be a world where you and I probably could never have imagined, right? There is going to be this AI based robotic generation that's out there that is certainly going to change the landscape of what jobs look like, what
Mm-hmm.
young people aspire to be. That's happening whether we like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar. 50, 60 years ago, our parents' generation could never have imagined that.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
we'd have a powerful computer in our hands, right?
Mhm.
So that unfortunately is going to happen, or fortunately, I don't know. That's going to happen no matter what. We
Yeah.
need we need to be somewhat accepting and navigate the fact that that's going to happen. But we also have to, I think, really instill in the young generation one very important factoid, and
Mm-hmm.
that is don't lose grit. Do you know what grit is? What grit means? Grit is like it's the thing inside that makes you want to keep going, that makes you want to achieve something,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that makes you want to persevere
Mm-hmm.
in the setting of difficulty, in the setting of struggle. Okay, you too much, and there's again, I volunteer in Africa and South America where people have very little, but in the West and in industrialized first world countries, there is too much that is just so easy, accessible here, there. There is a little bit of hardship, a little bit of struggle. That doesn't mean you have to
Mm-hmm.
put your children in danger, but a little bit of they have to work 3 days straight and stay up all night and really figure out how to answer this question. They need the grit. They need the resolve to be able to get through some hardship, because that process builds character, builds you to be able to deal, to attack, to be available to whatever comes, whatever this future for them looks like, which it's very hard for us to predict what that future
Yeah.
looks
Every
like
single day.
every single day. But we don't. But the one thing we do know is, yeah, robots and blah blah. All these things will make things easier, but that doesn't mean we can just bow out and say we're done, nothing to do. We sit on the couch all day staring at our phones. That's a very sad future, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so we need to be able to show our children that having that resolve, having that grit, and the best way to do it is by example, is we work hard, we get through a struggle, we get through a difficult time, we persevere, use whatever mechanisms, coping tools to help get to that next step, to help get to that next achievement. That fundamental grit, the resolve to persevere is the best thing we can show the next generation, because I still believe they will need it in some capacity. I just don't know what capacity yet, but they will need it in some capacity.
Yes, absolutely beautiful. And I also am trying to be, like you said, role model first place, because we know that it doesn't matter what you are actually talking about, kids, they will be always copying your behavior. If you preach one things, but you are behave in a completely another way, they will be watching you and doing actually what you are doing, right? So I try also now every evening go to the forest, like we call it digital detox. I just take my daughter and my dog, and we like elaborate, we take one subject and then we talk a lot, no phones, nothing, like, you
I
know.
love it. I love it.
And yesterday I was like, I was just less curious, because now I try to be like best friends for them, not pushy. They're 17 years old, like pushing it actually it never works, but you know, to take subject and approach from different angles. And I'm like, Nicole, what do you think actually, if people or your generation sitting on the phone like 6 or 7 hours, is it like hard for your brain? She's like, no mom, it's okay, we are built like this, our generation. And then I said, okay, let's compare. Can you go and work out or play soccer 6 or 7 hours? She's like, no, no, it's so exhausting. I said, but can you imagine, brain, it is also part of your body, it's organ. And what you're doing on your phone, actually so much intense. It's also, it's like you sitting and like really working out 6 or 7 hours. Can you do that? She's like, no, it's probably not that good. So I think to talk with them and actually to make real example, what is the alternative, right? So it is the most important, and we should start so early at school now. I think that now in Norway they actually go back to have books, because they didn't have book at all. What do you think about this, that we have? I love books for me, it's like they're real, they have soul and body. I need to smell, I need to touch. I cannot read, like, you know, just on the phone. It's not my stuff anymore. I get anxiety if I'm all the time on the phone.
Yeah,
How do you feel?
I agree. I mean, the phone for me is like a blessing and a curse, right? I,
Yeah,
I get out of the operating room, and I have, you know, 300 messages, several
yeah.
missed calls, and it's just yeah, there's certainly anxiety. There's
Mm,
certainly um, there's certainly anxiety related to it, but it also does allow me to be efficient and multitask, right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think it's like anything else, it's a balance. They're not going away. I'll go back and forth between reading something, you know, online versus you know, relying on a book.
Mm-hmm.
There is still something there is still something beautiful. I agree with you. There's some soul in books. So we certainly, my wife and I have like a little library where some of our favorite books are kept. We certainly bring them out. We'll flip through the pages. We'll show, you know, the kids sort of artwork in the books or things that are there. For the longest
Mm-hmm.
time, I remember not so long ago for the Harry Potter series, you know, the actual, you know, collector set. You know, I would read to my daughter in bed from the actual book. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's something that's not done very much anymore, but you know, this is not that long ago. So it's a balance. I don't think it's going to be one or the other, and I don't think either should be gone. I think it's both. It's a balance.
Yeah, it's a balance, everything, and like we all the answers in the nature is like this polarity, right? Like day and night and everything. We should try to find this balance, and it's a unique balance for each of us. So
Yeah.
of course, I would like to talk about brain and our brains. Like, what do you think at all, like about actually neurodivergence? And have you actually, when you're the first time, the first invitation, I can even ask, do you see? Can you see? Do you believe that neurodivergent brain, they looks different, or it's not?
That's a great question also. You know, so we have some data that the neurodivergent, so most neurosurgeons don't deal with neurodivergence, right? When people are talking about the spectrum, usually they go to neurologists, non-surgical specialty, or neuropsychologists.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I'm aware of some of the literature and some of the kind of cross talk between the specialties. There, one of my colleagues and a dear friend Dr. Daniel Ament in California, is a psychiatrist, and he looked at PET scans.
I saw
And
it. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
it's very interesting because a lot of his work would show that there are differences in,
Mm-hmm.
what we used to call functional MRIs. He's changed into PET scans, looking at different blood flow and radio tracer uptake and metabolism in the brain. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
that it's not that the brain structurally necessarily looks different, but it functions differently. Different
Mm-hmm.
areas and how the areas are connected and wired to one another and interacting with one another, that seems to be behaving differently. But
Mm-hmm.
it's also interesting, and we do deal with this a lot in neurosurgery because as surgeons, unfortunately, we take out tumors even in children, we go into the brain. There is something called neuroplasticity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, the interesting thing about neurodivergence, if you think about, let's say you have a scan from Doc Ament that shows a PET scan, that different areas lighting up of different concentrations of activity that is not quote unquote the norm, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a neurodivergent brain. The question that's really fascinating to a lot of us, and I think the answer for the most part has been shown to be yes in a lot of cases, in young children is, does neuroplasticity allow us to rewire? Does it allow us
Mm-hmm.
to change those circuits? Does it allow us to teach, adapt, modify? And for a lot of neuropsychologists, psychiatrists, neurologists, with the right, and this is where the trick is, and this is kind of beyond now my specialty, but there's evolving fields where they certainly can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And they can help.
Amazing. I do believe so much in that. It's actually what I'm also using myself because Uh, of course, I am into a lot of the data, and I was part also of the experimental treatment here in Norway, which is called it's 4 days, but it's actually basically 4 days and nights, very intense, radically intense exposure therapy for
Yeah.
OCD.
Okay.
And they invented here, so and they had to test you first like half a year that if you actually can handle this, because it's so intense. It's
Mm-hmm.
really they expose you to the edge of everything, actually what you experience during the intrusive thoughts, like they are suicidal, right? So they put me to the dead edge that actually everything what I'm kind of scared to do, they push me to do it. And then because I really like, so close, but at the second, this like last second, I cannot do it. Right. Then brain actually understand that it's irrational. It's not me. It's not actually my real thoughts to do it or something. So yeah, it's fascinated
So it
about
helped you.
brain.
So it helped you.
It helped at certain point before the war broke, because I'm the only one actually patient, they say, probably in the whole world, that's so unlucky that actually after this radical 4 days treatment, you should have had like very calm and like smooth treatment for your brain to go out like during the half a year, like
Mm-hmm.
not stressed, like supervised, like everything. And for me, I was put during this under this treatment, and 1 week later the war in Ukraine started, and my mom, she called me and said, Valeria, the war came and they're bombing us because we are from Kherson. And can
Mm.
you imagine, they put me in this state, like they really wrap up all my brain, and it
Right.
was already to that edge. And then this one came to my brain like reality. And then I have, like I told you, I have 2 kids. They're from Ukraine, adopted, and one of them also neurodiverse. They got started like panic attacks all the time. I've lost 6 weeks like connection with my parents. They were on the bomb, and I couldn't hear from them. So my reality at that time, my brain basically didn't understand what was the worst, like the reality they put me into, like, or the reality of my life.
But that's also
So
very traumatic, right? So we know that the brain has trouble with plasticity, with learning, with adaptation in the
mhm,
setting of trauma.
yeah.
And so, for example, in my world, in neurosurgery, when there is a trauma to the brain,
Mhm.
right? So what you're talking about is a certain trauma that causes you to go like this, hyperdrive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
multiple things going on. And in a setting of neurodivergence, suicidal ideations, OCD, shock therapy, exposure therapy, where you're trying to rewire and reset, a
Mm-hmm.
trauma is not helping, right? A trauma is confusing the circuits. So, just to give you an example, in our world, where we have a real trauma to the brain, a physical trauma to the
Mm-hmm.
brain, what do? People talk about like how bad fentanyl and all these drugs are. We actually use these drugs in a controlled setting in an
Mm-hmm.
ICU, and we induce comas, right? We quiet the brain, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We lower what's called the CMRO2. We lower the cerebral metabolic rate of oxygen consumption. We lower the metabolism of the brain, the processing of the brain to quiet everything. Because
Mm-hmm.
in the setting of trauma, quiet allows for potential healing. So we use the things like fentanyl and drugs and all kinds of special drugs to induce a coma. We control your breathing, we control everything. It's a controlled setting to allow for quiet healing. And so in your case, it's fascinating. And people like you, the last thing you need is trauma, whether it be physical trauma or psychological, emotional trauma. It won't
Mm-hmm.
allow the reset. It won't allow the quiet. It won't allow the healing.
No, it's what has happened. So, is it still hope for me, Jared?
There's always hope. There's always hope.
It's through my healing. You see, my healing now. It's exactly what you and me are doing now. We are like in togetherness. We co-create this psychological space,
Hmm.
safe space that I can be myself, I can share with people. And for me, like you also mentioned that you're volunteering so much. My show, actually, this one, it's not about money or promotion or sponsor. I don't have any sponsor, nothing at all. But I just to try to share my story so boldly, like if people, if I can give hope, exactly hope to never give up, even to one person, it's exactly what I'm doing every single day. So it already much more than enough for me on this world, and I mean this mission, because it's exactly like like you said that, okay, it's how you can navigate between, yes, feel so small, you cannot save the whole world, so all people in Africa and everything, but still, if everybody can, like, if everybody will be approached by that way, but nothing can happen at all, they quit before they start. But resilience, and like you said that in martial arts, no, you have to go further, you have to persevere, you have to, right? And
Yeah.
in togetherness, we still, I do believe, the kindness and the light of the love and everything, it still prevail. It's still, though, okay, it's still war in my country, it's so painful for me to, like, start every single day. But then I'm trying to meditate like you, and with gratitude and pray, and anyway mechanically rewire my brain, even is with so much trauma, but I still believe it's hope for that,
It
right?
is hopeful, but Valeria, you're also doing it, right? You know how I said there's no one trick, there's no one tool, there's no one anything.
Mhm.
You found you like to talk. You said you like to talk. You talk more than you
Yeah.
listen. So, but you found an outlet like this. I mean, podcast has never been something I was interested in. When I was invited in my first podcast, I didn't even know what it was, right?
No. Hmm.
So you found a tool. You like talking to interesting people. You like providing your audience with something different, with information, with something that helps maybe them heal or gives them some thoughts or some ideas or some inspiration. That for you is also part of your trick. It's part of your tool. So
Yeah.
you're doing something for yourself and for others. So it's very nice.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah,
You're welcome.
exactly.
I hope that this conversation is helpful for people.
Oh yes, I'm sure that we are giving them like brilliant stuff, and it's very important, especially in this challenging time. Like we are living every single day in so much uncertainty, pressure, and exactly what you are saying. We
Hey, a
cannot
lot of hate.
stop.
A lot of hate out
What?
there. There's a lot of hate. There's a lot of hate
Yeah, a
out
lot of hatred and everything, and we basically don't know when we like open the eyes what kind of world we're already awakened into,
there.
because who could actually really were thinking that it can happen, like this type of war or genocide now in our country, right? And now what's going on in Middle East and everything. So I mean, if we don't really cultivate and train our tricks, our own tricks, it's very difficult to navigate, and it's challenging all the time. But I think me and you, we can give people, there's always hope, always. They should really listen to your story, to my story. And if last not last, but like last for this show for today, probably you could give some also piece of hope and maybe I don't know some advice for youngsters who actually would like to do no how they you've been mentioned this grit, right? Like how to find it, they maybe don't know, maybe they're so confused because of social media and everything, but how to try to find actually, because when with another girl I'm talking, she's like, I don't know that because I have two, right? And one is very motivated, she knows exactly what she wants. Another one, like you said, that okay, data, phone, no library, nothing. I'm trying to motivate her, but how we can actually give them advice to find the grit
That's
or
you're a lot of fun to talk with because you have great questions. So,
thanks
I'm
so
not sure I know the answer to that. I will say, but you are right. Everyone kind of, if, finds their grit on their own,
uh-huh.
right? It's their own. It's like, it's not something that it's everyone's the same. And so I would argue that everyone out there in some capacity has some struggle, different for everyone. And some people will think your struggle is silly, right? Some people will think your struggle is hard, but someone has
Mhm,
something. Okay. Let me stop while the plane goes by. Um, so, if everyone struggle or everyone has a little bit of a hardship or something that's bothering them, it can be small, it can be real, it can be large, it's real to the person. I want them to focus on it,
mhm,
and I want them to figure out a few tools that they would like to try to get through it. I'd like them to say, okay, this thing, whatever it is bothering me today, how do I make it not bother me tomorrow? Okay.
mhm,
You wake up the next
mhm,
day, it still bothers you. You failed. It didn't work.
mhm,
I want you to think about it again. And I want you to think about the words I started with about karate and martial arts.
mhm,
Personal best, never end on failure. Figure out a way to end on a version of success. Doesn't have to be perfection. End on a version of success. Go to bed, wake up, still there? Try again. Change the tools. Change a way that you're thinking or acting or feeling or behaving so that the next day that same thing gets a little bit better. Do it again
mhm,
and again
and repeat.
and
Mhm,
again until one day, and you're not staying stagnant. You have to make changes if it's not working. Then maybe it's a day or two, maybe it's a week or two, maybe it's a month or two. But when you finally are through that thing, that hardship, that bothersome idea, you look back and say, there's my grit. I had the resolve to not give up and push through and make it better. And then you
mhm,
go back and say, do some introspective thought and say, what was it that really allowed me to get through it? There is how you find your grit. Because we're all capable in some ways, some of us better than others, right? But that's why it can take different time, different techniques. We're all capable of getting through. We're all capable of persevering. That, and how you do it is how you find your resolve and how you find your grit. And then you use that for the next step.
wow, so beautiful, so powerful. I thank you so much for this exciting conversation. I never actually really like Slavic preparing myself. I know I'm like downloading. I'm at that moment awareness, like I'm channel. I kind of know what person does, and then a little bit intro, but then you never know. And I think this is the beauty of it, that to be so authentic, because everything now so curated, so filtered, so masked, so perfect. It's that you start like, oh my god, I don't want that. I think yes, people really they are craving a more authenticity around really like real stuff, right? And it's so amazing that you said that. Yes, even it's okay if you do, if you fail, like just don't stop on the failure. Try something new, really, because we are at the end of the day. I think that we are much stronger than actually we believe we are,
I
right?
agree. A
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, beautiful way to end. I agree
We
completely.
are much stronger. So, thank you so much. Where are you based actually? You or LA? No.
I'm in Los Angeles, yeah.
Los Angeles, yeah. So because my
I've been
biggest
all,
dream
I've
and
been
goal
all over.
to
Yeah, I've been all
what did
over,
you
but
say?
I've been all over. I've lived in all kinds of places all over the world, but I ended for now the base with the family, the kids, the practice is in LA,
Mm-hmm.
Los Angeles.
Amazing, because yeah, that's the place for me to dream. I'm coming to Stanford actually in September to present
Amazing.
my work. What did you say?
Amazing. That's amazing.
Yes, I am so blessed and happy. Last year I was just participating in Neurodiversity Summit, but this year I applied with my abstract and I won the project that I can present there.
That's
So I am
amazing.
very blessed to meet so many unique people like me. I will be surrounded. I will be in my element. I love it. So yeah, probably one day in Los Angeles. I love Los Angeles. My dream and goal to move there. So probably in a couple of years. Yes,
Well,
and then we
You're
can
welcome to
you.
visit. You're welcome to visit anytime.
Yeah, thank you so much. And maybe then actually I would like to go together if it's okay for you and for your wife, and we can practice a little bit martial arts. I've never done this. You can
Perfect.
teach me.
Done.
Amazing. Then we have a plan.
We have a plan. That's a good.
Ah, cool, cool,
And
cool.
I'm happy to
And
show
then I have also
your
nice
daughter.
cool
Happy to show your daughter
questions.
neurosurgery. Happy to show your daughter everything about neurosurgery.
Yes, exactly. That's why you know what? Is it okay that if she can follow you on Instagram and
Or,
sometimes
of course, reach out,
ask some
message me.
questions? Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Nicole Yartanas, you will see her. Okay,
My pleasure.
perfect. But she was like, Mama, why I'm not here? I'm using actually her phone now. She's like, okay, for him you can use my phone. Okay, much love from Norway, tenderness, compassion, and please always, of course, remember you did absolutely your best. And I'm so inspired. I'm so grateful for the most precious commodity you can give to each of us. It's your time because you're so unique. You're just one of you. Everybody rest is taken.
It's my pleasure. It's my
Yeah,
pleasure.
okay.
And I'm glad that you get to share this with your audience, and I'm hoping it helps.
Absolutely. I'm so okay. So please take a very good care of yourself and of your beautiful wife and kids, and hopefully one day, yes, martial arts.
Love it. We'll do it. We'll do it.
Okay.
Bye,
Bye
Valeria.
bye,
It's
Jared.
a pleasure.
Bye.